So this is a website that provides a lot of great resources for, as you can see, a lot of different ages and grade levels related to science, biology, chemistry, that sort of thing, and all different grade levels and skill levels. So for high school chemistry, they have they have a lot of different interactive resources and materials. But for this one, I thought it'd be a good resource for students learning how the periodic table is organized and the patterns within it. Not necessarily like reactivity patterns, but just structural patterns of how the atoms are organized. So right here, it's called the periodic table activity. So I'm just going to move it into frame here. So it basically takes into account knowledge that the student will have of the positioning of the periodic table, of how this has to do with number of valence. The group numbers up here have to do with number of valence electrons, and then the columns have to do with energy levels. So for instance, if I'm given neon right here, if for instance I was a student who didn't know that that was, like a noble gas, I had to go over here. If I didn't know the position, I could see the electron shell is 2, 8, so that means it has 2 energy levels and it has 8 valence electrons. So it goes right there. Carbon, again, if I was a student who didn't know where it was, I thought it was maybe over here, perhaps down here, I could see that the electron energy levels are 2, 4, which means that there's 2 energy levels and 4 valence electrons. And then again, nitrogen, the same thing, right there. Lithium, 2, 1, so we're going to go over here. So it just keeps on going, and you can select the different, the difficulty level and things like that within here. So this is a good resource that satisfies the majority of the 4 E's checklist. It's effective because it's perfectly aligned with the standards regarding knowledge of the periodic table, and it supports those standards. It's efficient in the sense of the students can access this anytime, as long as they have a computer or a laptop. They can access this anytime and just really make sure that they have the knowledge of the position of those atoms sort of down pat. And it enhances the learning of the standard in a way which just goes on to solidify that knowledge of energy levels, and kind of I like it more of a tool to just familiarize the student with the periodic table. I'm never going to ask them, oh, you need to memorize exactly where every atom is on the periodic table, because I don't even know that. Most chemists don't, but most chemists are very familiar with the positioning and everything like that. So it's really good to enhance that familiarity. And finally, this is engaging because, there's a timer and there's different difficulty levels, and so it is sort of has that game format. So it would really engage the students in learning this standard.